Let's move on to our second battle of the night. We have, sorry, the Mythical Mermaids versus the Sylphic Sylveon here. Let's get into introducing our first team. The Mythical Mermaids, led by Mizusuta, playing for the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. Currently ninth place at 5-6, really close to that top 8 threshold. The OU Pokemon here we see have been putting in a lot of work with the Dragapult at 8-7, and the Great Tusk is at 4-4. A Pokemon that hasn't been getting as many knockouts as I would expect, and same with that Mimikyu there as well in the UU. Mimikyu is at 4-5, and another Pokemon that had the potential to just bonk everything, but it just hasn't. But that is okay. We see the UU as well as the Noivern, as well as the Mimikyu. The Noivern is at 6-5. The RU Pokemon, we have the Cloyster at 10-5, leading this team. We have the Roserade at 0-1, and the Miss Maggie is at 0-2. Two Pokemon that have not really been brought too often, but kind of should be. But with the Pokemon like Dragapult and Mimikyu, I guess the Miss Maggie is just kind of in the back lines as not as good as a ghost type as those other two ghost types on this team. We see the NU Pokemon. We have the Vaporeon at 4-5. We have been seeing that it has been a pretty good Wish Staller lately. Words. And the Snorlax is at 1-3, and the Hitmontop, the Boosty Yo, is at 2-5. The PU Pokemon, we have the Leafeon at 3-4, the Vikavolt at 2-1, the Rotom, Frost, and the Claydol are each at 0-1. The Vikavolt getting some more knockouts finally after last week. That's been a Pokemon that has been needing some more knockouts as well. But their opponents for this week, we have the Sylphic Sylveon, led by Susumi, playing for the American Cancer Society. Currently 13th place at 3-8, but definitely looking to climb up more before the end of the season here. Some really strong Pokemon to do that with. We have the OU Mons of the Hisuian Typhlosion and Hisuian Samurott. Typhlosion being at 7-9 with the Samurott. I almost called it a Hammerot. Is it Hammer time? I don't know. Anyway, that was really bad. But Samurott is at 8-11. The UU Pokemon of the team, we have the Tinkaton at 4-5, and the Aqua Breed Paldean Tauros is at 2-2. There has to be a better way to abbreviate that, right? I don't know. But the Paldean Tauros having some good knockouts after just being traded. Hammerot would be Tinkaton. You're right. The RU Pokemon, we have the Sylveon, the namesake Pokemon, the Sylveon at 2-3, the Aurorus at 1-3, and the Pangoro at 0-2. The NU Pokemon, we see the Escavalier at 0-1, the Golurk at 9-9, having the most knockouts on this team, which is pretty cool. Golurk being a really strong Pokemon here, and has been working out really well for this team. And the Alolan Exeggutor has only been brought the one time, I believe. I think we confirmed that last week or so, that the Exeggutor has only been brought once. The PU Pokemon, we have the Indeedee, doing way better than my own Indeedee. The Indeedee at 7-7 right now. Meganium and Sunfisk, Ordic Cheese, each at 0-2, and the Flareon is at 0-1. You could. You know, I might have to change that. That's smart. Can you please message that to me so I don't forget, Susu? Because I will forget if I don't have it, and if I don't have the reminder. But extra must have been brought twice. At least no, I mean at least once. I mean it might have gotten a knockout the same battle that I got a faint in. Oh, it was brought twice? Or it did get one knockout and one faint in the same battle. I don't know. Either way, let's move on to the starting lineups of these two teams. We see the Mythical Mermaids. We have the Dragapult and the Noivern, the two scary dragons leading off this team here. We also have that Mimikyu, the Great Tusk, the Vikavolt, and the Vaporeon. We are going to see an evolution battle here with the Sylveon from the Sylphic Sylveon here. We also have the Paldean Tauros, the Indeedee, the two Hammerots. No, that was bad. The Samurott and the Indeedee. No, not Indeedee, Tinkaton, and the Golurk. Oh my goodness, I am struggling. Um, let's hop into things. Let's get started with this battle. We had it in 2 battles, but never got sent out in battle 1. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, let's start this battle. Why don't we? We have the Mythical Mermaids leading with the Koi Fish Dragapult, and the Sylphic Sylveon leading with the Mimi Indeedee. The Indeedee going for an expanding force, doing so much damage to that Dragapult, but not quite knocking it out. The U-turn hitting back from this Dragapult here, switching into the disguised Mermaid. The expanding force is going to break the disguise though. And the Shadow Claw, unfortunately, Indeedee is a normal type, so it's not going to get hit by the Shadow Claw. The expanding force is going to do a lot of damage here, but not enough to take down Mimikyu. Mimikyu is going to go for the Play Rough and knock down Indeedee. But the Life Orb is also going to drop the Mimikyu as well. Dragapult is going to come back out with the Hisuian Samurott switching back in. The U-turn is going to bonk the bonk the Samurott and switch right into the Great Tusk to boost its attack with the Photosynthesis. The Ceaseless Edge, though, is going to miss, though. Unfortunately, the close combat is going to be enough to take down the Hisuian Samurai. Also, Great Fish. I love the name. I just realized it's called Great Fish. Golurk is going to switch in to replace the fallen Samurott, with the Ice Spinner doing a lot of damage, but not quite enough to take it down. The Dynamic Punch is going to connect and do a lot of damage and confuse, but it is going to break through confusion. Well, not break through. It's going to fight passive confusion. The Ice Spinner taking down Golurk here. The Sylveon does come out, but the immediate switch into the Mermaid from the Mythical Mermaids. Hyper Voice is going to do some pretty good damage here, but not too much, since it is now a tank battle here. Never mind, Sylveon switches out into the Paldean Tauros, with a Wish coming through from the Vaporeon. And the Wild Charge. Oh my goodness, I was not expecting a Wild Charge from this Paldean Tauros. The Baton Pass is going to switch into the Dragapult. The Dragapult is going to get some free recovery here from the Wish Baton Pass from this Vaporeon. The switch from the Tauros into the Tinkaton, though, with the Draco Meteor, of course, going to be an immune hit. The switch from the Dragapult into the Great Tusk, though, with a Thunder Wave, is, of course, going to be immune. A really good prediction here. The Gigaton Hammer is going to bonk the Great Tusk, and the Headlong Rush is not going to hit because it is a ground type and is floating on an air balloon. Unfortunately here, the knockoff is going to do a little bit of damage to the Vaporeon here, and it is also going to finish off the Vaporeon. The Tinkaton doing some pretty good work here with the immunities that it's been having. Dragapult does come out. The Flamethrower is going to hit it, do a lot of damage here, but not quite enough to knock it out. With a Gigaton Hammer bonking the Koi Fish, but not quite taking it out, only at 13 HP. The switch from the Tinkaton into the Paldean Tauros to eat that resistant Flamethrower. Luckily not getting burned, though. Another Flamethrower is going to come through, not quite take down the Tauros, and the Iron Head is going to be enough to take down this Dragapult. Each team with 3 Pokemon left. Noivern, the Flying Fish, is going to come out, and the Air Slash, of course, is going to be enough to take down this Paldean Tauros. Sylveon is going to come out. The Air Slash is going to do a little bit of damage. Does it get the flinch? It does get the flinch here. But the Leftover's Recovery is going to do a little bit. The U-turn then from the Flying Fish is going to switch out into the Great Fish. And the Hyper Voice, though, is of course going to be enough to take down the Great Fish. Each team now down to 2 Pokemon left. The Vikavolt, the Bugfish, is going to come back. The Wish being set up by this Sylveon. The Thunderbolt is going to do a little bit of damage here. Leftovers Recovery is going to make it safe, though, from another Thunderbolt here. But the switch into the Tinkaton. The Thunderbolt is going to be enough to, unfortunately, take down Tinkaton. Probably should have stayed in the Sylveon there, question mark. But Sylveon is going to come back out. The Hyper Voice is going to do about half of the HP here. The Thunderbolt is going to bring it down to 8% HP. Will the Hyper Voice high roll? It does not. It does even less damage this time. And the Guava Berry is going to bring the Bugfish back to full HP. And the Thunderbolt is going to finish off the Sylveon. The Mythical Mermaids being the winners of this battle. A really close battle, though. Yeah, good games to both teams. Just the Mythical Mermaids able to come out on top there.